Okay, today I'm joined by Dustin Browder ahead of the launch of Heroes of the Storm. In fact, by the time this video goes live, you will have just launched the game.
Yes,
so
yes.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And yeah, I guess first question, what needs to have changed for you to finally say, right, this is the full release, we can leave beta testing, we can start?
Well, a lot of it is gut, sort of what feels good enough. We had players going back to our technical alpha, and we started this over a year ago, saying when we launched that, this is polished, you're ready to go. And we were looking at it going, there's no score screen, we're not ready. There's some basic things that don't exist in this game yet. But we've worked on it, for over a year since then, and we've gotten to a place where we feel pretty good about the game systems themselves, the game content. At the same time, we're doing a ton of testing on our technology, on our servers, on our stability, on the reliability. All of these things are big factors for us as well. And so we think we've finally gotten to a point where we've had enough testing time, enough bake time on these things to hopefully produce an experience that remains stable and solid throughout our launch. And those are sort of the big questions that we're always chasing. Can we provide a solid experience when suddenly millions of players jump in? Will it hold together? It's a very challenging problem.
Sure, I mean, Heroes of the Storm, I guess in your eyes, is never really going to be complete, right? But you're at a stage where you can invite more people in.
We can invite more, right? We can invite everybody who's really interested. And of course, we want to keep working on this game. We want to keep providing new heroes, new battlegrounds. We want to provide new game systems as we go, new gameplay modes, anything we can think of to improve the experience.
So, just in terms of scheduling for that, is it going to change drastically post-launch in terms of how often you're updating the game?
A little bit. We'd like to move faster on heroes. So we're going to move to, we hope, to a 3 to 4 week cadence on hero releases so that we can get new heroes in the hands of our players, and we think we're in a position to be able to do that now. We also are going to be on something like, and this may vary over time, something like a 2-month cadence on patches, maybe longer, maybe less, as we try to get new features into the game, and we'll see how that goes. That's going to be that's definitely going to vary based on how much stress we're putting on our engineering and our quality assurance teams to be effective. But we certainly want to keep updating as frequently as we possibly can to be able to be reactive with the community, understanding what their needs are. And at this point, the team is growing. We're not shrinking. We're not sending people away to other teams. We're actually adding more people as we go to launch and beyond, so we can keep the pace going of providing updates, because it's just an absolute blast as a player to be able to in a game that's got a development team that's that engaged.
Sure. So what kind of play base do you need to attract to maintain that then? Because
we're there. We're good.
You're already good.
Yeah, we're okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll be able to keep going. And we'll say we've got a ton of players, and now we've had over 11 million players sign up for the beta, and I'm sure there are many other players out there who didn't sign up because it's just a beta, and I'll play it when it's done,
Sure.
And those players are starting to show up now that we're in open beta, and I'm sure we'll see even more after launch tomorrow.
Cool. Obviously, you're always going to be thinking about balance. That's going to be a day-to-day thing. But what's on the list in terms of things you want to see changed over the next few months? Is there anything that's kind of...
there's nothing that I'm aware of that's burning us down right now. There's a few things that we'll certainly see a few talents here and there that we'll address. The things we typically address in balance are watching big swings, in the meta and trying to decide if we want to deal with those. For instance, when Kael'thas came out, he did not win games. He was down on winning games. Now he's starting to win maybe a little bit more than he should. But we're going to watch that number, and see as he goes up and down how he's doing on his sort of win-loss percentage and see how effective he's being out there. At the same time, we're also watching through talent picks, and you'll see us do that sometimes. We'll make changes to a hero. Like I had a player tell me the other day that we were changing Brightwing too much. And a lot of these heroes are being teased. It seemed like the win-loss was good. I'm like, yeah, actually, Brightwing was okay. But the talent picks were not 50-50 or even close to it. Some players are, is 95 to 5% on the other talents in the tree. It's like, oh, that's a problem. If there's an obvious talent pick at this tier, that's something we want to address, especially if we believe that that's true. There are other examples, right, where right now, if you're playing Lily, everybody's choosing Jug of 1,000 Cups for her heroic ability. You actually have a better chance of winning if you choose Water Dragon, right?
Just by the stats.
Right? But nobody's choosing that. But we'll find out if that's real or not, over time. And so sometimes, but then you have an example like, Sylvanas with, her heroic abilities, right? We got the silencing arrow versus possession.
Sure.
Most players are choosing silence. The silence, that is correct. That is the better win-loss choice. Possession is not working. So that's an example of a heroic ability that I think we'd like to address going forward.
Sure. So ideally you want to get everything towards a nice kind of comfortable looking 50%?
Not necessarily 50-50 for the hero win-loss for sure. In terms of the talent picks, not necessarily.
You don't mind if some are a little more?
No, some are going to be off, and that's okay, especially if they're very situational. Like, well, I choose this if, and then I want to know that that's a real choice. So for instance, when we first launched, we had in alpha way back when, Stitches was a very big part of the game, and Sergeant Hammer would get hooked by Stitches all the time and just annihilated. So we added a talent, which is one thing our talent system allows us to do, that says, if you want to, as Sergeant Hammer, you can choose this talent, which means you can't be shifted when you're in siege mode, which is very important in that Stitches matchup. I don't expect you to choose that if you don't see Stitches.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you will, but unlikely, right? You're only going to choose that if
so
you're
you don't want
shifting
that
you around. I don't want that 50-50. That would be weird. But I want to know that if you need that, it's available to you, and that there's certain battlegrounds, certain hero combinations, either with your allies or with your enemies, that makes that talent very valuable. And it's suddenly in that moment, it's crucial. While at other moments, it's not so important.
Absolutely. So obviously, balancing is definitely going to be there. That is day to day. And you said the team is growing though, which means you can look at tackling other things as well. I think some people in the community at the moment don't think the matchmaking is quite where it needs to be.
No, I think that's an ongoing
issue,
right? Okay. Like, and we'll work on that probably indefinitely. It can always be better, right? Yeah. You can always improve it. We recently made an improvement to matchmaking in Quick Match specifically, where we would only match you with the support if the enemy team had a support.
Right.
So you would only be without support, and our stats supported that as a necessary requirement. I think there was something like a 4 or 5% loss difference if you didn't have a support, which is not huge, but you can feel it. You can feel it, right? And certainly if you lose, you didn't have a support, you can blame it on that, right? We haven't seen that with a warrior. There's a requirement. At the same time, I've had games where I didn't have a warrior that I definitely felt the need. So we're going to keep watching that and see if that's a requirement for us going forward or not. In terms of ranked play, we've seen a lot of players concerned with ranking with allies or with enemies that seem very much out of their league. Some of that, there have been some bugs in the code that we are addressing, we'll continue to address. Some of that is just the way our rank system works, where it takes about 100 games to reach your proper rank. So you'll say, why is that guy level 1 and I'm level 20? Well, actually, you're level 1 too, right? We just haven't gotten you there yet. And so because the system's a little bit grindy, that's creating some confusion in the community. So that's something we're going to look to address as well. I think our rank play systems is something we can either make more clear or do some design changes to, and we're going to be examining that over the next couple of weeks, to see what we want to do to rank play. Do
you hope to see some improvements there just with having a bigger pool of players to pick from?
That will also help. To be fair, in this launch moment, it's going to be a little bit worse as we learn about everybody. So everybody comes in, we don't know anything about you, whether you're any good or not. So we pick a spot, like maybe we're going to start you here and we're going to go. So the matchmaking will probably get worse over the next few days as we launch. Hopefully it'll even out again as we get more information on all the players who have suddenly jumped into the pool. But I think we're very open to that feedback that the matchmaking could be more solid. I think the other thing we want to do, which we haven't gotten to yet, is we really want to look into the match a lot more and see how you did as a player and adjust your rating on how we're going to match you appropriately. Right now, we are just just win-loss. We are just looking at win-loss right now, which is effective, but it's not. It won't get you there as quickly. Right, as looking a little more deep into the game, like you lost, but you were carrying that team, right? And that's information that we said, you won, but man, you were a disaster. I don't know, maybe you shouldn't go up as much, right? That's information we can use to find your level a little more quickly than we have today. And right now, the engineers I know are looking at metrics, trying to see what things do the better players do that's consistent from game to game. Is there a single metric that we can look at, or a group of metrics we can look at to really understand, they exhibit these types of behaviors. You're in your first 3 games, you're showing the behaviors. This means we should move you quicker, either up or down. Right, okay, cool. So what kind of lifespan are you thinking with Heroes of the Storm now? If the player base remains... WoW's been going on for 10 years, right? So, if you've got World of Warcraft, who has managed to continue to update that game for 10 years now, right? It's still got millions and millions of players playing it. I think we'll keep going until, I don't know, we'll find out, right? As long as we possibly can. I think it'll be many, many years to come for sure. Certainly with the start off we've had such a huge explosion of excitement. As long as we've got 9 other players to play with, it's something we want to continue working on. And one kind of final question, I guess. This is more of a personal one. I got a text on the way to this meeting. Oh yeah? I don't think it was from you, but it was from Blizzard. So. Oh yeah? And it says that I've just received a verification code. But Dustin, I didn't ask for a verification code. Have I just been hacked? I don't know. Let's look at it. Let's see, here we are. It's signed off by Blizzard Entertainment. Yeah, but who's that really from? I'm worried. I don't know what that is. I'm very worried about this. I don't know. Does this number look familiar? That could be anything. I don't know what that's real. I don't even know what that would mean. I certainly wouldn't respond to that text. Okay. I don't know. I might text back. It might be nothing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know our policies on this. I don't know if we do this kind of thing, honestly. So that seems. But again, it may be something in a different country that we do. I don't know for sure. All right. But you could certainly contact CS and say, "What is this? Why am I getting? Is this real? What is this?" Right? And maybe it's time to change your password. I don't know. Excellent. Are you using a mobile authenticator? Dustin, I'm gonna be level with you here. I need to be straight. Go. There was a time when I played World of Warcraft where I may have used a third-party service.
And I think that may have come back to bite me
I'm so
years down the
sorry.
line.
I'm so sorry. This happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
That's me. That's not you. Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with lunch. I mean, I'm still connected here.
আপনার কাঙ্ক্ষিত নম্বরটিতে এই মুহূর্তে সংযোগ দেওয়া সম্ভব হচ্ছে না। একটু পরে আবার ডায়াল করুন। আপনি আপনার নম্বর থেকে 123 ডায়াল করে 2 টাকা প্রতি মিনিটে খবর, বিনোদন সহ বিভিন্ন তথ্য সেবা পেতে পারেন। The dialed number is currently unreachable. You can send a voice SMS to this number by dialing star followed by the mobile number.
I don't think that's actually a number you're supposed to call, is it? Yeah, I think I've been hacked.